excited. Toys, and we're gonna make some toys. We got, so shout out to Dollar General. We loaded up the other day. Dollar General, you should sponsor our birds because we picked up so many amazing clearance Christmas ornaments that we use for the bird toys that I went through, and I picked out ones that are bird safe, animal safe, and we're going to be turning those into some bird toys today. Shogun's excited. He's already getting into our stash of goodies. And then also shout out to Amazon. We just got our delivery, some other bird toys that we're going to be building. Some like foraging toys. And Shogun, you want to help me open some of this? So we have 3 birds plus 1 here at Ocoee Riverside Farm. And Shogun's going to get into stuff because that's what he does. He's very excited. But I'm going to be building, eventually I'm going to be building, these are like tool pegboards. And I'm going to be adding toys to those to make like a giant fidget board for the birds. So I'm really excited about that. We got a bunch of hardware ordered, stainless steel hardware. And this is a really good toy for the birds that I've used for lots of years. Come here, Shogun. He's getting into all the wood blocks here. Come on, up. And anyway, so the toy, you can put, this is a little cage, stainless steel cage, and you can put nuts in here. That's probably her favorite. Shogun's already looking at it. He's like, I know what that is. But this is one of my favorite foraging toys for birds because it really makes them kind of work for their snack and their treats versus just eating it out of a dish. And so that's a really good one. We got a couple of those. We got these little skewers so we can hang fresh food and skewer it. Like peppers would be really good on here, kind of like harder vegetables or more stiff vegetables so they'll stay on there better. And then you can hang them and the birds can eat whole veggies off the skewers. Got some foraging toys, some more there. So anyway, we'll go through all that and I'll show you guys the finished product. But right now we can feed some birds and say hello to some birds. I'll show you what we feed everybody. So here on the farm we make our own bird chop from scratch. So this is kind of what it looks like. I'll tell you really quickly what's in here. But it changes weekly. I make it in big batches and it's constantly changing. The idea behind this, and if you've had birds before or if you have not had birds before, this is very educational and something to really pay attention to. So birds benefit greatly from fresh fruit and vegetables, mostly vegetables and grains, and especially parrots. So when I'm talking about this, this would be more so for parrots. Other birds are going to have different diets. So some things that we have in here is vegetable pasta. It's uncooked, but I use uncooked pasta in here because as it's in with all the other vegetables and everything, it soaks up the moisture. And so you're not going to have soupy chop. It's nice and dry. We have jalapeno, peas, lima beans, corn. We also have, let's see, blueberries and quinoa. That's another one that I put in here. Quinoa and chia seeds help also soak up some of the moisture. Shogun's going to dive right in and see what he can snag. So the reason why we make chop versus just giving them a pellet only, number one, fresh fruits and vegetables are very good for them. But the idea with chop is just like Shogun is doing right now, is he has to dig through the food and he picks out, birds are picky and they're going to pick out little bits and pieces that they want. But if we zoom in really quickly as Shogun pulls his face away here, it's doing exactly what it is. He's got food kind of all over his face. So he's got the little chia seeds stuck on his beak. And so as he's digging around in the food, he's going to accidentally pick up other nutritious food and eat it while he's eating the stuff that he wants. Does that make sense? So it's like hiding vegetables in kids' food and they don't know that they're eating it. Like maybe spaghetti sauce, and you throw in blended extra vegetables in the spaghetti sauce and they don't even realize they're eating healthy stuff, but it's in there. So same thing with parrots. So he's eating a little spiral pasta right now, but it's covered in chia seeds and other vegetables that he's accidentally eating, but it's all kind of on purpose. And so this is how you keep a healthy bird, and it also is very stimulating for them because they have to dig through. They're not just eating out of a pellet out of a dish. That parrots need a lot of stimulation mentally to keep them healthy. They are very smart animals, and they can get bored really easy, which can lead to feather plucking, self-mutilation, and harming themselves. Also, it can, they can be very destructive. So if they don't have positive and productive things to do in their environment, they're gonna find something to do. They're like a toddler. They're worse than a toddler because they're way more destructive. They have like a chainsaw on their face with their beaks. And so they will find something to get into. So if you give them something productive to get into, they're not going to be doing maybe as many naughty things as they could be doing. So you give them good things to work on. So this is what we feed here, and it's constantly changing because, again, we always want to mix things up. It's never just always the same. And another one of Shogun's favorites is Greek yogurt. So he'll probably dig in here next. And so he loves Greek yogurt. He loves ice cream too, but that has sugar in it, and so we do it very sparingly. Actually, I'll be making a batch of our own ice cream that is bird friendly and safe, which I use frozen very, very ripe bananas, a little bit of cinnamon sprinkle in there, and maybe another fruit, and then we blend that all together and freeze it and make an ice cream that is kind of indulgent for the birds. They think they're eating real ice cream and it tastes really good, and but it's something that's all natural, that's for them. So that's another thing that they like. And again, this is also bonding. So as we're feeding the birds, I'm feeding him out of my lap and hand. So this is good quality time with your birds, which is also very important to have very sweet and loving, handleable birds.
A couple questions are, and we'll change the camera here in a little bit, but what are the names of the birds? Where would you get a cage like that?
Yeah.
And where are we? And I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay, so we have 4 birds here at the farm. This is Shogun. He is 35 years old. He's an umbrella cockatoo. In a minute here, when Kevin gets back, we might be able to take one of the other birds out and show you guys. But we have 2 macaws, which are here to my left-hand side. We have a scarlet macaw named Tiki and a Catalina macaw named Skittles. And so they're in the room right next to me. They have a big enclosure there. And then we have another male umbrella cockatoo in the other room, which he does not prefer men, and especially men with hats. And Kevin, our camera guy, is a man with a hat. So we're gonna leave Zachary in his room because he's not a fan of men with hats, and that's exactly what we have going on today. So Shogun is like a golden retriever, and he loves everybody, and so that's why he's out. He gets special privileges because he's very friendly and is personable to everybody. And anyway, you can come see the birds here at Ocoee Riverside Farm. We do have a farm tour that you can book, and you can come see all of the animals, including the birds. A lot of times, if the birds are feeling up to it on the farm tour, we take Tiki, our scarlet macaw, out into the hallway of the barn, and we fly him back and forth. And so if you've ever want to see a bird fly in person, it's really neat to be able to experience that. And so I'm going to show you guys some of the toys that we build here. Again, shout out to Dollar General for having some awesome deals, 70% off sale on their Christmas decorations. And so I picked up a bunch of ornaments for 30 cents a piece. And I make toys, but I hang the little Christmas ornaments on toys that we make, so I'll show you. So the macaws especially, Shogun really likes them too. Let's find a smaller one. He loves wood and wood blocks. That's what he wants to come chew on. Come here, baby. So we use the wood that we use for toys. Come on. Is a pine. So it's a pine that is not treated. Very, very important. You don't want to use pressurized wood or anything that's been treated with chemicals whatsoever. So this is bird safe. Again, it's pine. So I just chop it up with a chop saw. It's a 2x4. Cut it into little slices, and then I drill a hole. So I string it on the wire and just keep going. And then about every 2 or 3 blocks, I'll throw in another ornament to kind of make it fun. These ornaments have been really great. I was really happy to find these because the birds, they're lightweight enough. The birds, once they pick them off the toy, they can pick them up with their feet and play with them. And they can chew on them. I call those like foot toys. Shogun's pulling out a block to chew on. Need some help? The macaws, that's what you hear in the background. They're getting a little feisty this morning. And so then throw on another ornament here. So pretty simple. I won't show you the whole thing because it takes, I don't know, a few minutes to put it all together. So if you imagine a big block of this or a big loop of this, we have ornaments hanging down and then the wood blocks that they can chew on, and so it makes a really cute toy. So the birds love that, especially the macaws. And speaking of the macaws, I'm going to finish feeding them as well because they want to get their breakfast snacks too. So what I'm feeding them in the morning, we do fresh chop. And so this is a mix of, I use a Missouri pellet. That's kind of some of these little bits in here, but we also use tons and tons of fresh fruit and vegetables. Mostly vegetables and grains. So we have corn in here, peas, lima beans. We have jalapeno. We've got some zucchini, vegetable pasta, blueberries. We've got kale in there also. I also do, let's see, I'm trying to remember, quinoa, which has a lot of protein in it. Quinoa is a grain. You cook it very similar to rice, but it has a lot of protein in it. So that's what we use for, we make all of our chop in-house here at the farm for the birds. I personally make that. And then Zachary, our other umbrella cockatoo that you can't see on camera right now, but he looks the exact same as this umbrella cockatoo. He gets chop and he loves yogurt, and so I'm going to throw in a little thing of yogurt here for him. You like yogurt too. Shogun loves yogurt. So this is Greek plain yogurt. It does not have any flavoring added to it. If I would add any flavoring, it would be fresh fruit that I would just buy, like raspberries. And then I would take the raspberries and mush them up into a jam. And then I would add the actual fresh raspberries into the yogurt. I wouldn't buy yogurt that has the raspberries already added because they do add extra sugar in there, the companies that make the yogurt. And so I want it the least amount of sugar as possible. So it's just a plain Greek yogurt, non-fat plain yogurt. And then I'll add fresh fruits to it myself. So that way it reduces sugar. Because we don't want extra sugar in there. The birds are sweet enough as it is. So a little glop of yogurt in there for him. Mr. Zachary. There you go, buddy. So Shogun here. Shogun is my personal bird. He comes to work with me, but he's also kind of a part of the farm while I'm here. He is a 35-year-old umbrella cockatoo. He's very friendly. He's very personable. I call him like a golden retriever of birds because he loves everybody, goes to everybody, and anybody can handle him. So he's very friendly and very sweet. I've had him 16 years. A big misconception about birds that people don't realize, because they see a bird like Shogun. I take him out in public a lot. He wears a harness when we go out, and so he goes out in public with me a lot. And then even like, you know, videos that I'm doing right now, people will see him online. They're like, oh man, I've always wanted a bird. Or he's just so sweet. And they come up with the idea, well, I want a bird now because he's really, really sweet and I want one like this. The problem with that is I have 16 years invested into Shogun, and I spend every waking moment of my day with him. And the reason why he is sweet and loving and caring and very handleable like he is because I spend so much time with him. And majority of people, 99.9% of people out there, do not have the time and commitment to be able to invest that kind of time with a bird like I do. So the reason why he's sweet and so well behaved is because I spend so much time with him. So people just see the end result of like, oh, he's so sweet and so loving, but they don't realize how much time that I put into him every single day. So imagine having a pet that you've dedicated your life so much that you won't take a job unless your bird can come to work with you or your pet. And that is what I have done for 16 years. I have either started my own businesses where I work from home and Shogun can be with me all the time, or like right now I work at Ocoee Riverside Farm and Shogun comes to work with me. So he is with me all day and then he comes home with me at night. And so for 16 years my life has been dedicated to this bird. Yeah. And so it's a lot of time invested that, you know, you see the sweet loving bird, but you don't realize what's behind the scenes and how much time, effort, energy it takes into, you know, creating a really sweet loving bird like he is. So he's very snuggly. There's a lot going on right now, so he's looking around a little bit more, but he's very sweet, very loving. He is 35 years old. He is if you're just tuning in, he's a male umbrella cockatoo. He's watching the other birds, the macaws flying around here. Oh, baby bird. He does speak a little bit, but he is not a big talker. Umbrella cockatoos are not really known for their speaking abilities or their mimicking abilities. It's just not a strong point of theirs. Cockatoos' personalities are more of a very affectionate bird in general, and loving, snuggly, and that's kind of what they're known for. They can also be very chaotic. They can be extremely demanding, extremely, with a giant capital E. A lot of cockatoos, I used to work at a bird rescue, a parrot rescue. We had over 300 birds at that rescue, and we had a lot of cockatoos. And because people would see a sweet loving bird like this and they would fall in love with them and then not realize how demanding they are and how much attention they require, and the bird would scream all day and people can't handle that. And so then they end up giving the bird away to the rescue and say, we can't handle all this noise, and they give up the bird. So it's just, they weren't prepared for the amount of time that it takes to take care of one of these guys on Shogun. And so anyway, if a bird would be a good companion for somebody that works from home, potentially, or is retired, or somebody that you can bring your bird to work with you, but ideally you're with your bird pretty much all the time if you're not going to have other birds as a companion. So Shogun is my only bird, so he's kind of like my little social companion, and I'm his social companion. So he doesn't have another companion bird because I'm his companion. If you don't have a bird that you're able to dedicate a lot of time to, then having another partner for them for socialization is really important, because they can get very lonely. So if you just imagine you being in a cage by yourself, you would get a little lonely too. The cage behind me is, or if you're thinking about a bird, or if you want to upgrade the cage if you have birds already, honestly, I would just go on Google and search. You want to think bigger is better. So when you're looking into buying a bird cage, is you always want to get the biggest size that you can afford. And the bigger that you can go, even though maybe it's a small bird, still go with a bigger cage if you can afford it. So I hope this was helpful, you guys. I hope you enjoyed our little bit of bird time that we had here at Ocoee Riverside Farm. Come see us. Link in bio. You can book a farm tour and see all the birds for yourself. Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys. We're going to go live with the sloths here in 1 second, so follow us, and we'll be doing it. Thank you so much for Fallon for your knowledge about all the birds.
Welcome. We're going to make bird toys.
All right, bye.